For years, gospel music has served as a source of hope, faith, and inspiration. But behind the uplifting melodies and passionate performances, some beloved Gaither artists have carried hidden struggles and made unexpected choices. From personal hardships to controversial moments, these behind-the-scenes stories reveal truths that have remained out of the spotlight. Truths that not only impacted individual careers, but also influenced the gospel music community as a whole. David Phelps and Mark Lowry's journey in Gaither music has been nothing short of extraordinary. Their time together was marked by powerful performances and deeply personal experiences. Each brought something special to the Gaither vocal band. David, with his soaring tenor voice, added emotional intensity to every song, while Mark, with his warm baritone and trademark humor, offered both levity and depth. Their contrasting yet complementary styles helped shape the band's sound for a generation of gospel fans, creating a unique blend of heartfelt inspiration and lighthearted joy that resonated with audiences around the world. Their bond extended beyond their musical collaboration. It was built on mutual respect, genuine friendship, and a shared spiritual foundation. Though each man brought his own energy to the group, they were connected by the personal challenges they faced behind the scenes. Mark's charismatic stage presence and comedic flair often masked moments of inner struggle, while David's stunning voice concealed the physical and emotional toll that came with years of demanding performances. Despite their individual hardships, their shared commitment to faith and music helped them stay grounded. As time passed, their friendship only deepened. They stood by each other through personal trials and triumphs, continuing to create music that touched hearts and uplifted souls. Their journey wasn't just about sharing a stage. It was about supporting one another through life's most difficult moments. That sense of partnership, both on and off stage, became a defining element of their legacy with the Gaither vocal band and left a lasting impact on gospel music as a whole. David Phelps, widely recognized for his powerful tenor voice and invaluable contributions to the Gaither vocal band, is often hailed as one of gospel music's most gifted vocalists. But behind the spotlight and the applause, David experienced struggles that few fans ever saw. His path to success was filled with obstacles, including health issues, emotional battles, and moments of deep self-doubt. These hidden challenges played a key role in shaping both his artistry and his personal growth. From an early age, David's love for music was deeply intertwined with his Christian faith. Raised in a musically gifted family, he was surrounded by worship and hymns, and by his teenage years, he was already performing at church events. But as his career gained momentum, he began to face pressures that tested his endurance. While touring with the Gaither vocal band and performing for audiences worldwide, David found himself overwhelmed by the exhausting demands of the road. Constant travel, long hours, and the expectation to deliver flawless performances night after night. Though his voice remained strong, his energy began to fade, and physical symptoms made it difficult to maintain his usual high standards. Despite the growing strain, David pressed on, determined not to disappoint his fans or show vulnerability. But eventually, the signs became too serious to ignore. Fatigue, vocal strain, and persistent aches forced him to confront the reality of his condition. Yet even as his body grew tired, his passion for music and his reliance on faith kept him going. Still, the stress was not just physical. Mentally and emotionally, David was burdened by the pressure to uphold an image of perfection while dealing with private pain. As a perfectionist, he held himself to incredibly high standards, and when he couldn't meet them, he struggled with feelings of inadequacy. These moments of internal conflict, paired with physical discomfort, created a storm of doubt and anxiety. In the midst of these trials, David leaned into his faith. His belief in God and the love of his family served as anchors during his lowest moments. He began to see his struggles not as setbacks, but as opportunities for growth and deeper understanding. His journey became about more than success on stage. It became a testament to perseverance, vulnerability, and grace. David came to accept that imperfection was part of his story and that being open about his hardships could be just as powerful as any song he sang. Beyond his health concerns, David also faced the weight of public expectations. His remarkable voice brought him both praise and scrutiny, and the pressure to consistently impress could be overwhelming. Even as he tried to pour his heart into every performance, he sometimes felt it wasn't enough. He also wrestled with the loneliness that fame can bring, especially when he didn't feel free to fully share his struggles with those closest to him. At times, he considered stepping away from the spotlight, questioning whether the cost of fame was too high. David's journey wasn't always smooth, but it was real. Through each setback and moment of doubt, he emerged stronger, guided by faith and shaped by adversity. His story is not just one of musical talent, but of resilience, honesty, and a deep desire to connect through both song and spirit. He struggled with balancing his desire to serve God and share his gift with the world with the need for self-care and preserving his health. But every time he thought about stepping away, his passion for music ministry and connection with others brought him back. He realized that his music wasn't just for him. It was a gift meant to inspire and lift others up, especially those who were facing their own struggles. Over time, David's health did improve, but his struggles never fully disappeared. He learned to manage his condition, seeking medical care and making changes to his lifestyle that helped alleviate some of the physical pain he experienced. The journey wasn't easy, and there were still moments when he felt frustrated by his limitations. However, David became more open about his struggles, sharing his journey with his fans in a way that was both vulnerable and inspiring. He used his platform not only to sing, but to connect with others who were facing similar challenges, reminding them that they weren't alone in their battles. David's willingness to be open about his struggles and his commitment to his faith ultimately deepened his connection with his fans. People were able to see him not just as an icon, but as a human being, someone who had faced hardships, found strength in his faith, and overcome obstacles. His transparency resonated with his audience, and many found comfort in knowing that even someone as talented and successful as David Phelps wasn't immune to the struggles of life. His story became a testament to the power of perseverance, faith, and self-acceptance, and it inspired countless individuals to keep going even when life got tough. Looking back on his career, David Phelps's hidden struggles have played an integral role in shaping the artist he is today. His vulnerability and openness have only added to the authenticity of his music, allowing him to touch hearts in a way that only someone who has walked through hardship can. While the public may have only seen the finished product, the stunning performances and the flawless voice, behind the scenes, there was a man who was dealing with the very real struggles of life. And it is through these struggles that David Phelps has become not just a great artist, but a symbol of resilience, faith, and the power of never giving up no matter the challenges life throws your way. Mark Lowry, best known for his unique humor and soul-stirring performances with the Gaither vocal band, has had a career that's been both inspiring and challenging. While his voice and wit have delighted audiences for decades, behind the scenes Mark has faced personal battles that many of his fans never knew about. These struggles, which have spanned over several years, have shaped him as both an artist and a person. Despite these challenges, Mark's faith, resilience, and his sense of humor have helped him find healing, and he has continued to inspire others with his story. Mark's journey with the Gaither vocal band began in 1988 when he was invited by Bill Gaither to join the group. Known for his quirky, often comedic personality, Mark stood out immediately, bringing not just his vocal talents, but his humor and warmth to the stage. His distinct voice became an integral part of the band's sound, and his comedic timing helped balance the intense emotion of many of their songs. Fans loved him not just for his talent, but for his authenticity and genuine character. However, Mark's journey was not as smooth as it appeared from the outside. Like many artists, Mark faced personal issues that affected both his career and his relationships. One of the first and most public struggles Mark had to deal with was his ongoing battle with anxiety. Despite his outwardly confident persona, Mark struggled with bouts of extreme self-doubt and fear. These struggles were particularly challenging because of the nature of his career, which required him to perform regularly in front of large audiences. The pressure to appear confident while dealing with his own inner turmoil was overwhelming at times. It was a tough period for Mark, especially as he began to realize how much of a toll the anxiety was taking on him. The energy and humor that he brought to the stage were sometimes overshadowed by the mental and emotional struggles that plagued him behind the scenes. Mark, who had always been an open and humorous person, found it difficult to reconcile the image he projected on stage with the feelings he was dealing with offstage. For a while, he didn't know how to address the issue. His fans and colleagues were unaware of the depth of his struggle, and Mark, true to his nature, didn't want to burden anyone with his personal pain. But as time went on, Mark began to understand that he couldn't keep ignoring the issue. Anxiety, while it may have been something he could push through temporarily, was something that required attention and care. After seeking help and undergoing therapy, Mark started to work on managing his anxiety. It wasn't an easy road, but it was one that marked a significant turning point in his life. His willingness to confront his mental health struggles publicly would later serve as an inspiration to others who dealt with similar issues in silence. During this time, Mark also faced challenges in his personal life. His relationship with the Gaither vocal band became strained as his anxiety grew more difficult to manage. There were times when Mark felt disconnected from the group despite their long history together. The pressure of maintaining his spot in the band, coupled with his own emotional struggles, led to moments of uncertainty. There were times when he questioned his place in the band and whether he was truly contributing in the way he wanted to. This period of self-reflection and internal turmoil also made Mark question his faith. As someone who had always been open about his Christian beliefs, he struggled with reconciling his personal battles with his spiritual identity. The idea of having doubts while being in the spotlight as a gospel singer made him feel disconnected from the very message he was meant to share. This conflict was painful for Mark, as he had always prided himself on being a vessel of hope for others. To experience doubts and fears was something he had difficulty accepting, especially given his role in the gospel music community. Despite these challenges, Mark's faith played a significant role in his healing process. He came to realize that vulnerability, rather than being a weakness, was a strength. Sharing his struggles with the people closest to him, including members of the Gaither vocal band, was a pivotal moment. He learned that he didn't have to carry the weight of his problems alone, and that asking for help didn't make him any less of a person or a performer. During a particularly difficult time in his life, Mark Lowry found tremendous support and understanding from the Gaither family, both on and off stage. Their encouragement helped him navigate through some of his darkest moments. One of the most valuable lessons Mark learned during this period was the importance of taking time for himself. He made the conscious decision to prioritize his mental and emotional well-being over his career, a tough choice for someone who had always been deeply committed to his work. The constant demands of touring, performing, and always being on had worn him down. Eventually, he realized it was okay to step back, to rest and recharge without guilt. This new outlook allowed him to regain balance and return to his career with renewed energy and a stronger sense of purpose. This shift also led Mark to open up about his struggles. He began sharing his journey with his fans, talking honestly about his battle with anxiety and how he learned to cope. His vulnerability struck a chord with audiences who once admired him for his humor and talent. Now, they saw someone relatable, someone who had faced the same fears and uncertainties. Over time, Mark's bond with the Gaither vocal band deepened again. He came to understand that much of the pressure he had felt wasn't just external, but rooted in his own fear of failure. By confronting his mental health challenges and leaning on his faith, he let go of the need to be perfect and embraced the flaws that made him human. Today, Mark Lowry is celebrated not only for his vocal and comedic talent, but also for his openness about his personal challenges. He's become a significant advocate for mental health awareness, especially within the Christian music community. His story reminds us that even those who appear to have it all together can be fighting hidden battles. Mark's honesty has sparked important conversations and inspired others to seek help when needed. Looking back, he recognizes that while his struggles were painful, they helped shape him into the person he is today. His journey has been transformative, teaching him the value of self-care, seeking support, and being vulnerable. These lessons have influenced his music and reshaped his outlook on life. Mark Lowry's life story stands as a powerful testament to resilience, faith, and authenticity. Despite the hardships, he has remained true to his calling in gospel music. His courage to be vulnerable has only deepened the admiration of his fans, who now see him not just as a performer, but as someone who has walked through similar trials. Through it all, Mark has shown that it's possible to come out stronger and more connected on the other side of personal struggles. Mark's journey parallels that of fellow Gaither vocal band member David Phelps. Both men, known for their extraordinary musical abilities, have also faced significant personal struggles, and both have turned those experiences into stories of healing and redemption. Though their paths have been different, their willingness to share their vulnerabilities has profoundly influenced their music and touched the lives of countless fans. David Phelps, known for his stunning tenor voice, became one of the most prominent voices in the Gaither vocal band. His talent was undeniable, but behind the scenes, he was battling anxiety and depression, struggles that weren't visible to the public eye. As a performer constantly in the spotlight, David felt pressure to uphold a confident and polished image. Yet internally, he struggled with self-doubt, fear, and feelings of inadequacy. For a long time, David kept these struggles hidden. He feared that exposing his vulnerabilities might cause people to lose respect for him and his work. But over time, he realized that his silence was doing more harm than good, not just to himself, but also to those who looked up to him. Eventually, he reached a breaking point and understood that he needed to seek help, not only for his own sake, but also for the well-being of his family and the sustainability of his career. Speaking out about his mental health wasn't easy. In the gospel music world, there's often an expectation to maintain a flawless image, and David worried about judgment. But when he finally shared his story, the response was overwhelmingly positive. Fans began to open up about their own struggles, and David's honesty sparked conversations that had long been avoided. By telling his truth, he helped others see that even the most successful people have internal battles. His courage became a source of strength and connection, and fans appreciated him even more, not just for his artistry, but for his authenticity. Like David, Mark Lowry has experienced a deeply personal journey filled with challenges. Known for his sharp wit and comedic timing, Mark had always been the one to make people laugh. His humor was a key part of his role with the Gaither vocal band. Yet beneath the cheerful exterior, Mark grappled with anxiety and self-doubt. He often masked his struggles behind laughter, even as he felt overwhelmed by insecurity and fear. For many years, Mark kept his challenges private. He felt pressure to always project positivity, especially as a public figure. But internally, he was battling emotional turmoil that made it hard to find joy in the things he once loved, including his music career. Eventually, Mark came to a point where he knew something had to change. He realized that healing required honesty and transparency about his mental health. When Mark finally opened up about his anxiety, it marked a turning point. Though it was difficult to drop the humorous persona he was known for, doing so allowed him to forge a deeper connection with his audience. His journey became one of redemption, as he used his experience to encourage others facing similar issues. By being open about his pain, Mark not only found healing for himself, but also provided hope to many others. Mark's redemption wasn't only about overcoming mental health challenges, it was also about reclaiming his identity in gospel music. He was no longer just the funny man in the Gaither vocal band. He had become someone who had faced darkness and emerged with a powerful message of hope. His humor, once seen as an escape, became a tool for connecting with others who were dealing with their own issues. Mark's authenticity and vulnerability have made him a beloved figure in the gospel community, and his impact continues to grow. The redemption stories of David and Mark have had a lasting effect on gospel music, not only because of their personal growth, but also because of the way they've used their experiences to influence their music. Their songs now carry more weight, more depth, and more authenticity than ever before. When David sings, you can feel the emotion and the journey behind his words. When Mark tells a joke or shares a story, it's not just to make people laugh. It's to let them know they're not alone in their struggles. Their music has always been a source of inspiration, but now it has an even more powerful message. It's not just about the music itself, but about the life that's been lived behind the music. Both David and Mark have become symbols of resilience and redemption, showing that no matter how deep the pain, there's always hope for healing and a second chance. In addition to their individual journeys, the two of them have had a profound impact on the Gaither vocal band as a whole. Their openness about their struggles has created a culture of vulnerability within the group. The Gaither family has always been known for its strong sense of community and faith, but now it's a community that embraces the messy, difficult parts of life as well. This shift has made the Gaither vocal band even more relatable and more meaningful to its fans. David and Mark's stories also remind us that redemption is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process. Both men continue to evolve, both as artists and as individuals. They've both learned that it's okay to stumble, it's okay to be imperfect, and it's okay to take time to heal. Their stories are a reminder that no matter how many times we fall, there's always the possibility of rising again, stronger and more equipped to help others. Their journeys have left an indelible mark on gospel music, not just in terms of their vocal contributions, but in terms of the legacy they've created as men who have faced their darkest moments and come out the other side with grace, strength, and purpose. David Phelps and Mark Lowry's redemption stories continue to inspire millions of fans, showing that no matter what struggles we face, we can always find hope, healing, and a way forward.